A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to HJN Season 3. Now, it's time for us to get into another piece of HJN topics, and what we're going to focus on specifically are the Olympics. So without further ado, let's go and get it on. The Olympics are a series of athletic sports competitions, many which are not held as independent organizations. It's not necessarily like you have yourself independent sports-based companies, organizations, corporations, and whatnot, including MLB, NFL, NHL, FIFA, NBA, or PGA, or whatnot. Instead, the Olympics are basically a compilation of various different sports. And they can take place during the summer or the winter. And typically within both of these pieces, whether you have yourself one solstice where you're putting out javelins, pole vaulting, or running around the track, or with the winter solstice where you're bobsledding, performing large ski tricks, or dancing on ice. There's always the likelihood that with the Olympics that come out every 2 years, it's always been the even numbers for some odd reason. The latest Olympics, of course, have taken place in China. And with all the other unique highlights out there, the Tokyo Olympics of 2020, the 2018 Olympics in Korea, the 2016 Olympics in Brazil, the 2014 Olympics in Russia, the 2012 in London, 2010, 2008, 2006, whatnot, pretty much. And the Olympics have been around for a long time, so they sure have had a lot of creativity up their hands. And with all sorts of players out there, all the very familiar names out there, from the likes of Michael Phelps and Serena Williams to various other parts of each country that get to compete in these events. And depending on how well they do, how well the judges rank them based on scores, they can actually succeed very well and do a lot of service for their own country. Not to say like government related or military related, but of course this is the kind of service where these countries have one person in mind every 2 years with the Olympics on the rise. With the upcoming 2024 sessions, it's hard to imagine exactly what we could possibly put together, but it is potentially tricky to identify how things are at the moment, because after all, we only just got ourselves done with the Olympics in China. So it is always, and I mean it, always a necessity to be able to check in on your players. Depending on who you're rooting for, depending on how you have your players set into motion, if you have put a bet on them, you could win money or not, and anything else that could possibly happen. There's always the likelihood your player could possibly even win the almighty gold medal, with 2 other placements getting silver and bronze, and with everybody else just being left in the dust. So, because of the China Olympics, I do feel like that the results have been pretty well put together. Then of course with the Tokyo Olympics, Korea Olympics, and Brazil, Russia, London, otherwise, it's pretty important. Every 2 years we have a different country becoming the helm of where these competitions are going to take place at any point around the world. And so I feel like that just pretty much sums it up very well. But if you want to see more, go down on my channel to make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.